The hum of the engine was a constant in my life. After my divorce, I'd taken to long drives as a way to clear my mind. My therapist had said, "Face the open road. It's a metaphor, you know, facing the uncertainty of the future and moving ahead." I rolled my eyes at that new age nonsense then, but now, driving seemed to be the only thing that brought me any semblance of peace. I'd been driving for about 6 hours on the interstate when a sign caught my eye. Next exit, Morristown. Something about the name tugged at my memory. Wasn't that a ghost town now? A result of some disaster? Curiosity piqued. I took the exit. The road to Morristown was overgrown, the tarmac cracked and reclaimed by nature in places. As I drove deeper into the town, that feeling of isolation, the same isolation I'd felt since my divorce, became palpable. The remnants of houses loomed like skeletal remains, windows dark and gaping. But as desolate as it was, there was a beauty to it, nature taking back what once belonged to it. Suddenly my car jerked. Glancing at the dashboard, I realized I was almost out of gas. "Just great," I muttered. Spotting an old gas station, I hoped against hope that there might still be some fuel left. Pulling up, I tried the pump. To my surprise, it still had some gas. Relieved, I began filling up the tank. A sudden movement in my periphery made me jump. I turned to see a man, a few years older than me, with tattered clothing and a wild look in his eyes. "You shouldn't be here," he whispered urgently. "Look, I'm just trying to refuel and leave." "Is this your town?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. The man took a moment before responding. "This town is cursed. There's a creature that lurks here. It feeds off loneliness, off despair. That's why the town's empty. It drew people in, lured them with their fears and struggles, and then it consumed them." I stared, incredulous. "You expect me to believe that?" He looked pained. "Believe what you want, but get out before it gets dark." I'd heard enough. "Thanks for the warning," I said dismissively, finishing the refueling and hurrying back into my car. The man watched me with sad eyes as I drove off. However, a gnawing feeling made me regret not heeding his warning. The shadows grew longer, and I noticed that the path leading out of town seemed longer and more winding than before. A fog rolled in, making visibility almost zero. And then I heard it. A low growl that seemed to echo from every direction. My heartbeat quickened. Suddenly, the car lights illuminated a monstrous figure standing in the middle of the road. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen, a grotesque fusion of man and beast, with elongated limbs and eyes that burned with a deep hunger. And in those eyes, I saw reflections of my own struggles, my feelings of inadequacy, my isolation post-divorce, my despair. It was as if this creature was born from the very feelings I was trying to escape. My car stalled. The monster, sensing its advantage, started towards me, its growl deepening. I thought of the man's words. The creature fed on despair, on loneliness. And right now, I was a veritable feast. Desperation gave me clarity. What if I confronted my struggles? Would that weaken the creature? With a deep breath, I recalled the happier moments of my marriage. The love, the joy, and even the challenges we overcame together. Yes, it had ended. But that didn't mean I was unworthy of love or happiness. As these thoughts filled my mind, the creature hesitated, its eyes dimming slightly. Emboldened, I stepped out of the car. "I'm not afraid of you," I shouted. "I've faced my demons, and I'll face you too." The creature roared, lunging at me. But I stood my ground, memories of better days forming a shield around me. To my amazement, as the creature got closer, it started to disintegrate, the very fog that birthed it now swallowing it. When it was over, the fog lifted, revealing the road leading out of Morristown. The gas station and the old man were nowhere in sight, almost as if they had never been there. I got back in my car, my heart still racing. As I rejoined the interstate, the significance of the encounter wasn't lost on me. The real monsters weren't in forgotten towns or in the shadows. They were within us, born from our fears and insecurities. Driving now with the horizon stretching out ahead, I felt a weight lifted. The road was no longer just an escape. It was a journey towards understanding and healing. And while I might still have a long way to go, I knew that confronting my demons, both real and imagined, was the only way forward.